The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast.
Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, Episode 8, Expansion Content. Usually in this, Andrea and I present the next 7 in our favorite series, which will be filler games. Jess rejoins us, but she brings Sarah with her. But before we get into any of that, they come on here and have a big announcement of their next undertaking. But let's get into the 417 Gamer Podcast.
Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, the expansion episode. Jess joined us in the original episode, and we kind of alluded that they might have an announcement, but we're now joined by Sarah. Say hello to the peoples if you don't mind.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
So, you ladies have many hats that you wear. You have your 9-to-5 jobs. Mm-hmm. You also run Geek Ethos. Mm-hmm. And you cosplay. And you go to the conventions when you guys can. Mm-hmm. And now you're taking on yet another endeavor. What is the endeavor that you're taking on?
In June, we are opening the Village Meeple Board Game Cafe here in Springfield, Missouri.
Yay.
So,
yay. Yay, also scared, but yay.
What all are you looking to do with the Village Meeple, at least the introductory?
Yeah, so Village Meeple current picture, we are going to be a cafe, but cafe kind of in the loose sense of the word. The space that we have right now doesn't have a restaurant-style kitchen, so that will be an upgrade that we potentially will look into later. So right now we are mainly prepackaged snacks, so chips, candy, desserts, that kind of thing. And then we'll have drinks available, so we'll have sodas and tea and that kind of, and juice and water. But then we have also got our liquor license, so we'll have beer and wine and seltzer for that too. So and then basically it's just like a board game cafe where you'll pay $5 to come in, and then we have a wall of, right now we're sitting at about 250 games, and that will continue to grow as we grow. Games that we've found, that we've bought, that people have been amazing and have just donated to us. So we have a really cool, eclectic selection of, tons of games that you've probably never played or games that are your favorite. I feel like we've got a good variety there. So you can just grab a board game and then grab a table and sit and play as long as you want. We've got a cool space in that there's lots of rooms. There's 3 stories of it. So we've got lots to play, but then we're also going to have a shop where we'll have some board games for sale, but we're also looking at almost kind of like a gift shop where we have other areas, small businesses that have handmade things where we're trying to promote unique gift items. So like our Geek Ethos stuff will be there, but we've also got Kristen's candles that she was nice enough to let me slap silly board game labels on them, which was entertaining for me and hopefully other people, but at least me. And then we've got a couple of different leather working companies that are going to produce some really cool items. I've got my friend at Crow and Shay is going to do handmade geeky crochet items. So we're looking to expand that, and then we've got some other ones that we're working with currently to add that in as well. So lots of different things, and then we also are going to lean heavily into events. So we'll have date nights, we'll have workshops that we do upstairs in our party room where we've got one right now that we're calling, it's for role-playing games, so for RPG. We don't want to limit it to just like Dungeons & Dragons, so sure. Pathfinder, all of the different ones. But we're calling it Pretend Better. So people that currently play RPG games, but they want to just get a little better at it. So we've got some folks from Springfield Little Theater that are also players, but they're going to help give tips on improv and creating your character's backstory and just learning how to do the role-playing aspect of the game a little better, because that sometimes is intimidating to people. They're not sure how to do it, or that's the part that they're like, I don't do a very good job at that. So we want to do that. We've also got, we're going to be doing a DM or a GM workshop where if you're a dungeon master or a game master, we just kind of come in and it's a round table. It's a good chance for you to ask questions, toss out ideas, problem solve, problem shoot, that kind of thing. We'll do a couple workshops on session zeros, like kind of how do you set the groundwork before you even get started. So big fan of workshops, and we've been reaching out to other painting groups and leatherworking groups that we're trying to have a really cool variety of classes and make a community out of this. That way, if you're interested in something, hopefully we've got it. But we'll also have tournaments. They have tournaments around town that are awesome, and we're trying to bring in some tournaments that are more simplistic. So like Uno tournaments, Connect 4. That way, literally anybody can come, and you'd be surprised at how competitive Connect 4 gets at our house. So I think that it could be just a really fun time. And then winner will get a special prize, that kind of thing. So that is in a nutshell.
Right, and try and play to all of the crowd, as much crowd as you can.
Correct.
Because a lot of the game stores really, sometimes it feels like gatekeeping, even though it's not.
Right.
When you go in there, a lot of people are playing the middleweight and higher board games. They have their big miniatures armies that they have fully painted, and somebody tells you they're playing a 4,500 point army, which is a huge army, but to the layman, they have no clue what that is.
Yeah.
Understand. But you guys have a nice variation of board games. So you have something, if somebody wants a little crunchy, you've got that option. And you also have something, if somebody hadn't played a board game since Monopoly, you guys have some great options there.
We do, and we also have Monopoly, and we have Chutes and Ladders, and we have the games we grew up with, just to kind of hit that nostalgic factor of like seriously, Rick, when was the last time you played Chutes and Ladders? You can't even think of it, probably.
Not Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's games that I'm like, it could be something that you're like, oh my gosh, I love Payday. We're just trying to get a good variety, but then we also have the games that are a little more current, like you're like, oh, I really want to bust out Arc Nova. We've got that too. So there's really, we want to appeal. You can't appeal to everybody, and I try not to be delusional in thinking that I can, but I want to be accessible and inclusive. So I don't want to scare anybody off. If anything, I want the hardcore gamers to be like, this game is really easy. But you should try Chutes and Ladders. Maybe kind of fun.
Well, and I think a lot of people in their fandoms go through that hipster stage.
They do.
Where you're like, I'm not going to touch that. And then you're like, time's short. Life keeps on happening. I just want to sit down and play a game with some friends.
Exactly.
If it could be the crunchy one, great. But if it's something, a little bit simpler, fine. I might still have a few standards here and there. And be like, well, I have something better if you would.
100%.
But if they're like, no, this is what I know. Okay, fine. Yeah. Fine.
No, and that's fine. And that's kind of what I'm hoping is people... I've started asking, what's your favorite game? And it tells so much about a person based on what they say. Right away, okay, which shelf am I pointing you towards? Because if they're like, well, we really like Life. Also, we have Life. But I'm like, but have you tried these? And stay over in the green shelf area. Please do not go to the yellow or the red. Because we've sticker coded our games to help sort a little bit, but I don't want to over-sort, because I kind of think digging and exploring is part of the fun of board game cafes. But that being said, they're easily overwhelmed. So that's why I thought we would sort them by weight. So we've sorted it as light, medium, and heavy. And somebody was asking me the other day why I didn't do easy, medium, hard. And I'm like, because that's not true.
Right. It's subjective.
It's subjective, and just because it's a heavy game doesn't mean it's a hard game. Because Arc Nova's not hard at all. It takes forever, and there's a ton of setup, and the rule book is extensive, but it's not a hard game. Anybody could play it. So I don't want people to think that just because it's a red sticker that it's a hard game. It's really not, because you can have green stickers that are hard just to figure out and to do. Horrified is probably a green sticker, and sometimes beating those monsters, that's hard. And so I think it's really, like you said, it's subjective anyway. So that's kind of why we coded them like that.
Right.
So where are you guys located?
We're really excited about our location. We are located across from the mall on Battlefield. We're at 1570 East Battlefield in Suite F. So across from Old Time Pottery and McDonald's, but we're in the same building as Panera, and we're right next door to Bricks and Minifigs, which is the new Lego store. And if you have, shameless plug for them, they've been awesome neighbors already, and their store is amazing. So if you haven't checked them out, you should definitely do so.
Yeah, you've got a really cool space, not just where you're located in Springfield, but the space itself. We were lucky enough to get an early tour, and I love that you've combined the game store with playing at home feel. You know, you've got the different little rooms where you're not all in one giant room. You can be separated off in another corner than other people, and if you're tired and you want to sit on the couch, you've got a low table by the couch and some armchairs. So I really like the feel.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you picked up on that. We were kind of going for a home vibe of, it's definitely eclectic what we've put together, but like she said, there's different rooms, so we thought we could kind of get away with that. But we love playing board games at home, and we wanted to bring that feel here too, to make everybody feel a little more comfortable than they maybe would have if it was all standardized and industrial feel to it.
Sure.
I mean, that's a nice way to state it, but maybe it's selfish that I said go open a business, because we were hosting so many people in our home all the time. That I eventually said, could you just
Get them out of
go
my
somewhere
home.
else?
Go away.
There is a day maybe where I don't want to have 700 people in the
We're gonna
house.
clean up after you. We'd
It's
like at
fine.
least
Yeah.
$5.
Yes, yes, exactly. This is an introvert being
Yeah.
married to an extrovert.
It
Go
definitely-
open a business so you can leave me alone.
I say that in all honesty. It feels like an extension of, honestly, your hospitality for always wanting to open our door and have our table host people, which has brought so many fun groups of our friends together in unexpected ways that it comes out really entertaining at the end. And I think if you do the same thing on a bigger scale, you get the right people that want to walk through the door that just maybe want to sit next to another table of people that are also playing a board game, because it just creates a different energy. And I really like that component. Every cafe we've visited had such good energy. It feels like, I did want to come play a board game, maybe just not at my dining room table for the night, but this place is pretty fun. And that's what we're hoping for, but also you don't feel like you're, like I said, sitting underneath fluorescent lights and it's, giving you a headache. We've really thought through kind of the aesthetics and what's comfortable, even got some really nice seating, I think, and it's going to come together well.
And that brings us, when? Do you guys have a release date or an open date?
Yeah, we are opening almost a month to the day. We're 5 weeks out. That's terrifying. We open June 17th, which is a Saturday. And we're going to have a little bit of open house fun. When you come in the door and get your admission paid for, we're going to have where you'll roll a D20, 20-sided dice for those of you that maybe aren't sure of what that was. And then based on what you roll, you get a prize. So we'll see how you roll, see what prize you get. And then we've got Grimbeard Leather is going to be hopefully outside depending on the weather. And he's going to bring his life-size TARDIS, which will be really fun just to see. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And yeah, so that's, and then the Sunday, which is the day after that we open, the 18th, is Father's Day, and so fathers will be getting in free that day.
Hey.
Nice.
And fathers is in the loosest of terms. You've got puppies and kitties that you're their dad, pet dads.
Pet dads.
Well, ladies, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Where can people follow the Village Meeple?
Yeah, so Village Meeple, we have a website, it's just villagemeeple.com, and then we have a Facebook group, and then we have Instagram as well. I am currently working on TikTok, but I am a geriatric millennial, so it is taking me longer than it probably should to do that.
I just swore it off.
I'm trying not to, but then I'm like, but I probably should do it.
I don't have it as a business yet. If I did, I probably should, which Moon City Con probably needs it, but I'm really resisting it so much.
I do.
After Twitter's kind of gone through what it's gone through,
Yeah.
I just dialed back to Instagram and Facebook because that's what most of our friends follow.
That's what ours do too. And it seems to be good for Springfield as well. So, and that's kind of another thing before we sign off. Like the outreach of love and support that we've been getting from this has just been amazing. So I'm just really grateful to everybody who's just as excited as we are or who have donated games, which was amazing. And most of them, they'll come into the shop while we're working and my mom will be like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like they just sent me a message on Facebook and they just wanted to help. And it's really been amazing and just awesome.
Great.
Like we've made new friends already that we've never met before in our lives, and they're just as excited as we are. So it's just, especially those days where you're like, is this gonna work? if I have to paint one more wall, I might die. And then somebody will come in and just refresh that energy again.
Yeah.
So that's been keeping us going, to be honest.
Yeah, we need it.
Well, that's Village Meeple. You can find it at 1570 East Battlefield Suite F in Springfield, Missouri, opening June 17th.
Yep.
We thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
But we missed Sarah when we did the initial 1 through 7 list.
Oh, it's true.
So now we have you guys ready to do the expansion list, and we'll catch you in the next segment.
Hey guys, we are excited for Village Meeple to open, but the week before Village Meeple is Moon City Con, coming June 9th, 10th, and the 11th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Springfield, Missouri. At Moon City Con, we will have pitch car, we will have a poker tournament, we will have prizes, we will have a painting event. Get your badges now at mooncitycon.com. Let's get on to the top 7. Part 2.
The expansion. In the previous episode, we talked our favorite 7 filler games. Now we're doing 8 through 14. Andrea, would you kick us off? What is our 14th favorite filler game?
It's a 2-player game. It's Splendor Duel. And I know you weren't as into Splendor as I was when we started playing because you had already played it and you were kind of over it. But it was just a small little game, and I was still enjoying Splendor, so we got it. And man, we both of us really enjoyed it. The game mechanics are quite a bit different. The choices are different. It's quick. It's a very quick little game.
Yeah.
The way you win is different. You can either have 10 points in the same color, 20 points overall, or 10 crowns. Some of the cards have crowns on them. You still have 3 rows of cards to choose from, but the way you get your gems is a little bit different and interesting, and your thought processes are different. It's more of a puzzle. So we really enjoyed this.
Right.
That definitely sounds like one we should check out. We kind of were the same with Rick about kind of getting over Splendor a little bit. So that sounds different enough to kind of jump back into it.
Yeah.
I have 50 plays of Splendor, and we have 25 plays of Marvel Splendor. So by the time we got to Splendor Duel, I was pretty
You're over
burnt.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, Splendor Duel really refreshes the whole game. And right now we're just trying to find the 2-player games that we really just, gel with. And this is definitely in that list. And it keeps on moving up. It's low right now because it is so new. And it's one of those things, is it new and shiny, or is it going to stay the case?
Yeah.
Jess, your guys is number 14?
Our number 14 is Junk Art. This one has been a huge favorite with our families, with our young kids. It is up to 4 players, I believe, and you are street artists who travel around to different cities. So each of the cities has a different task that you're trying to do. And it is a builder type game. So think backwards Jenga, but with crazy pieces. So a lot of tumbling off of the tables, but it always is a hit with everybody that we've introduced it to. Super quick. Anybody can do it. And so, yeah, our families have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it takes a nice combination approach. So there can be, in one city, you have an individual task, and that's how you determine the winner. And then there's cooperative parts, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I do enjoy the melding of the game mechanics and the complexities that can kind of bring unexpected. It's like the next city, you didn't think this was coming. Here it goes.
That one you're supposed to play and try to achieve more fans, but that really becomes secondary to us as we go. It's like, oh, you won that round, and you just keep playing rounds, and you forget, like, oh, there is a point to this. Like, you're supposed to get the most fans, but we don't end up caring. We just enjoy playing the cities, so it's one you can play as much or as little as you want.
Yeah.
Well, and I also like that it has that deck of city cards that changes the rules, and you can either just select the ones you really like, or you can shuffle it up and deal and just play it as is. I like Junk Art, but we have the plastic version, and we have a couple warped pieces, and it's kind of soured me on our copy.
Yeah, we
So
have
I'm
the
gonna-
wooden one, so I didn't even know there was a plastic version.
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be very fun, because it's not that satisfying when everything falls down, the clatter about
There's
it.
also a weight component.
Yeah.
So the plastic's interesting.
It changed the whole dynamic.
It
It
changes
does.
everything. The weighted complexity of, like, you actually have to do some calculations, or sometimes blind luck is my 7-year-old will do it. That'll work. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I never heard of it.
Yeah.
In plastic.
So I'm holding out, and if I see a wood version come out, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to shove the plastic version off to a friend that really likes it. So
Yeah.
Worth it.
Sarah, your guys is number 13.
Are we going up the list?
Yeah, we are.
I'm making sure. It looks like we have, and I agree, point salad.
And this was their number one, but we definitely agree with you that it deserves to be on the list.
It is list worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say point salad. Granted, I'm fairly new to the point salad.
We actually have
gameplay.
just picked it up in the last few months.
Oh.
We're new to it.
But I really enjoy I like the simple mechanic games that we can incorporate in like one or two just hands, and then it easily explains itself.
Yeah.
And then within just a couple hands you think, oh no, there is some nuance to this. And point salad falls in that category for me, where you start to then kind of finesse your turns, and then you start to play off your neighbors and kind of look around. I like those where you're playing in front of you, but yet you have to play with the whole table.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, most games actually fall that way, but point salad just has that simple component to it. And it really is just fun with the younger crowd.
It's been fun.
Kiddos.
Yeah, and it's been fun with the crowd that are not gamers at all. Like her mom even was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's not how she talks. But
It is now.
It is now. Sorry, Lori.
Sorry, Lori. Yeah, so if we can get my mom on board and my kids in the same, and we can all sit down and play it,
And it
it's
still
usually gonna
appeals
make
to
a
us.
list.
And it
Yes.
still appeals to us because there's several games that they like and we're like, cool, no. But that one all of us can sit around and enjoy, and it plays at a larger player count too, which we had talked about. That's important for us too.
Well, and if we play it at smaller player counts, you can just cut the deck in half, like if you're playing 3-player, and do 2 games. And then either you can go through and pull out the cards that it recommends, or just play 2 games and you know some vegetables are not going to appear so much in one deck, and then they're going to get better in the
Yeah,
next.
that's awesome.
That brings us to our number 13 is Jaipur. Jaipur is yet another 2-player game. This is one that we'll pop out on a Thursday night when we're waiting for more people to show up, trading in gems and spices and camels. On your turn, you pick up some cards, or you can take the whole row of camels, and on a later turn, you can trade the camels in for everything that's out there. At the end, you have little chips you've picked up as you turn in your orders, and also, there's also whoever has the most camels has a little reward badge. It's really fun. It's really fast. It just hits that something for us to play before we're waiting for people to show up.
That one has become another one that we play before we go to bed. So it's actually sitting by my nightstand because that's where it hits the table. We've got just like a little
It's like a
TV tray
Yeah.
that you just sit there and we'll just fold it flat and we play on that before we go to bed because it's so simple and it doesn't get your brain going too much to where it interrupts your sleep cycle. So that's where we hit it the most. I don't think it's been on our table in a long time, but we play it pretty frequently.
Yeah, because it can fit between us, and we can lay down and play a game. Like, that's a double
Yeah.
win, right?
We sound so old
We
and
do,
lazy.
but think about how it's just it checks all the boxes for me at that point. Checks all the boxes.
Yeah, but once you sit or lay down after you've gotten off work, it's hard to get back up
Oh,
and do
yeah.
a thing.
It's like once I hit 40, I was like, everything is gravity.
You want to do a thing? Only if we could do it right here.
Right. He literally said that last night. I was like, do you want to go over there? Or go? He's like, wherever I go, that's where I'm staying.
That's where we'll stay.
I'm getting a big bottle of water, and that's where I'm
Where I
at.
will go.
Andrea, our number 12.
Fantasy Realms, another little card game, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. It is, the first time I played this game, I thought it was so complicated. I was like, I will never figure this game out. But after playing it even just one time, I got to understand. Each card has things like if you match this dragon with this electrical storm, you will get 10 points for every card that has fire on it, or and then I was like, what does that even mean? But we found out there is an app on your phone that will score all of that for you.
That's nice.
You can just type in what cards were in your hand and it'll tell you what your score is. And it's fun while you're doing it to try and calculate all those points in your head. But sometimes what I think I had is not what I
I was
actually
like,
had.
and then see how wrong you were.
Right, yeah, exactly. But it is fun because you're laying down cards and you can either take a blind card or something someone else is playing has laid down face up. And sometimes they've laid lay down exactly what you need. Like King Arthur can only be played with Excalibur, and they lay it down because they don't need it. And you're like, yes. So it's one of those games where you're just trying to find that good combination of cards.
And this is the precursor to Marvel Remix
Yes.
that we've talked about.
Yeah.
So if you like Fantasy Realms, Marvel Remix, I think is just slightly easier, slightly quicker, and that's why it was on our top 7, where this was the first. And also, this comes in a deluxe that adds a few more factions. All the cards have different factions like she talked about, so you could have fire. So there's like Firestorm, Campfire, Dragon's Breath, all that, and you get points for all of them. And then you have some that'll blank each other out. So like if you have the Flood will blank anything with the fire text. So when you have those in your hand, you're trying to make your best hand of 7 cards, just like Marvel Remix. At the end of the game, you all compare, whoever has the best hand wins.
Gotcha.
That was our number 12, Jess. Number 12?
Our number 12 is Bang the Dice Game. This one has hit the table a lot with our larger groups. I feel like a broken record that we just keep saying that. I really enjoy Bang. It's got a little bit of a secret identity component to it, but because you have one person that's the sheriff, and then depending on the player count, you might also have a deputy. But then you have outlaws, and then you also have a renegade. And the outlaws are trying to defeat the sheriff, and the renegade is trying to outlast everybody, and the sheriff is trying to defeat all of the bad guys too. So it's got a little bit of an interesting component. It is a dice rolling game, so you can shoot specific people, but there's also arrows that the group, as the arrows are all taken away, once they're all gone, everybody gets hit that much. So it's just interesting because it changes every time you play it. And you can adjust your health, and it's an asymmetrical game, so everybody has like a little secret power. So that one, it takes a minute. It's usually like one round, and then it's I got it now kind of game. So we just typically toss people in and give them the very basics, and I'm like, you'll figure it out. And they usually do.
I think my favorite part is normally if there's a strategy game, I'm typically not going to come out on the winning side of it because I don't have strategies as well as Jess picks up strategies instantly. So my part that I like about it is that there's a dice component to it, so it's complete luck. And that's where I usually can get the advantage. Just for some reason, the dice love me.
They do.
And so in a game where we mix dice and a little bit of strategy, I feel like I have a shooting chance, a fighting chance there.
In secret identity games, I've noticed with you, I had no idea that you're like chaotic evil and you just like to watch the world burn.
I do.
So
I do like
that's
to just...
she's just, you have no idea what she's going to do because we're always like, it could be her. I genuinely don't know anymore.
It's so counterintuitive to my personality.
She has like
when I play a game, I'm
we played Secret Hitler, she has been a liberal and killed another liberal that we knew was a liberal. Just to throw us off. And we were all like, I don't know what to do anymore. Why would you want us to think you're a fascist? I don't know.
It was such a good move.
Sure.
Did you win?
No.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Not a clue.
No one won.
Nobody wins when Sarah plays like this.
The villains won when you play like that.
Sarah, number 11.
Our number 11 is Fox in the Forest. And I'm glad that this one made the list because Fox in the Forest has a nostalgia thing for me because it's very similar to Spades. If you grew up playing just simple card games like Spades with a deck of cards,
which trick-taking games.
Trick-taking, yeah. My parents, that's their favorite game. They play it till this day. They have friends, they have Spades, and they just play. So I like that it's an updated twist on kind of a classic game function. Trick-taking. But there's just some real fun components to Fox in the Forest, but I like the suits. It's a very pretty game.
It is the artwork's gorgeous.
Anytime they have a pretty design game and it has some classic nostalgia to it, I'm usually a sucker for it. But Fox in the Forest is really fun, the 2-player game that we have. I also like that it's quite portable, so anytime we travel, it usually makes the trip with us.
They went to OzCon with us last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it if you have, kind of that group of people that grew up playing classic card games, you can easily teach them Fox in the Forest. So I think it translates many generational players, which is really fun.
Do you guys have diamonds?
No.
It's a stronghold game. It's trick-taking. There are diamonds out. You start with 3 in front of your show floor, and then you have a safe to put them in. When you win a trick, depending on the suit, depends on what action you get to take. If you win a trick with a diamond suit, you get to take a diamond from the supply and put it into your safe directly. Any diamond in your safe is worth 2 points. If you win with a heart, you get to take from the supply and put it in front of your safe in your show floor. Anything in front of you is worth 1 point. A spade allows you to take from your show floor and put it into your safe, which investing, so it gets in an extra point. Also, things in your safe cannot be stolen because the club allows you to club somebody and take something from the show floor and put it into yours. Then, at the end of the hand, whoever took the most in each suit then gets to take another action.
Nice.
So,
Interesting.
it's
You just
very
play that with
good.
a regular deck of cards?
It has an extra set of cards. I think it goes ace through 15. There's no face cards.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And it's a little bit too big and long to be in
Be-
this list.
Right.
But we do play it quite a bit.
But definitely recommend
No, we
it. It
haven't
plays
played
up to
that
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out.
So you can play everybody for themselves. You can play pairs, or I think we played 3 versus 3 one time, and it went okay, but I thought the pairs worked better.
Okay.
Sure.
Pair games are always fun, too.
Number 11. Our number 11 was Cockroach Poker. This is a game that we have friends that love and dread playing this. It's got that tension whenever you slide the card over to the next person. Do they really want to call your bluff? And then, or do they want to just pass it on to the next person? And when they do that, how well is that other person known at that table? Because I'm known for being pretty decent at lying. And do they want to... Yes, this is a bat. Do they want to continue that it's a bat, knowing what they've seen on the card? Or do they want to change it? I really enjoy Cockroach Poker. It goes usually pretty quick. It's almost always in the filler category. Every once in a while it's ran a little bit long. But, yeah, it really hits a lot of... It plays up to 6. Plays 3 to 6 pretty well, and a lot of different peoples.
Yeah. And it's one of those where the shy, quiet person will lie to you, and you're like, oh, can't believe you lied to me. And they're like, I'm sorry. It's like, no, that's what you're supposed to do.
I've heard nothing about good things about that one. We haven't played it yet, but I've heard we'll have to pick that one up, too.
Yeah.
Number 10. Andrea, what is our number 10?
Just one. This one is almost a borderline party game.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I played it, I was like, wow, that was really fun. Let's play it again. And everyone that we played with, which was a big group of like 10 people, all said, yeah, let's play it again.
Yeah, we had to sub in people because it plays up to, I think, 7.
Yeah. We were teaming up people. And, it was really interesting. You can... everyone gets a word. You have to have the, what would you call it? The main player guess. Mm-hmm. And everyone can write down one word on their little dry erase. And when you show it to the other players, if you and someone else have written the same clue, they wipe each other out. And sometimes we would get down to, we all put the same thing, and only they had one clue, and they were just...
nothing.
Yeah, or nothing to go.
We've had that happen where it was nothing, and
Yeah.
Sarah's just like, I hate you all. That's my guess.
Do you still get to guess if there's nothing that comes through? You can
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
still put
You
a
can
word
just
out,
let
right?
it fail, but
Peanut, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
But every time we've played this with a group, it's been a really big hit, so we like it. Try and keep it around.
We like that one too.
Jess, number 10.
Our number 10 is Patchwork. This one is really pleasing puzzle. You have basically a quilt in front of you, and you pay for pieces with buttons, and it moves your tracker along. It's actually like a simple, peaceful game, but it's really smart the way they've done it with the little times moving forward depending on which piece you pick up, and then you're paying for those pieces with buttons. And then at the end of the game, you get penalized for the open squares that are left on your board, and then whoever has the most buttons wins. This one has been a big hit with my parents. It's a 2-player game, so we don't get it out very much, but it's been one that we gift to people because it's so simple and everybody enjoys it. It's pleasing to fill up your quilt like that. Yes. Like it just, if you have any kind of like, not OCD, but any tendencies where like completionist and pretty puzzle making it pleases you, this is the game for you. And they have a ton of different iterations of this game too. We just have the original one, but yeah, just whatever you have.
He's laughing because we have them all.
We have all except for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. I put in an order for them, and they're actually kind of hard to get Valentine's Day, so I will look up that for you. And get that for
awesome.
You. I will gift that for you.
Okay.
Just you. It'll be your wedding present.
Aww,
there you go. Yeah.
Sarah, number 9.
Our number 9 is Guillotine. Yeah, I can't remember the first time. I think we were just randomly shopping at our local game store, and this little card deck was just sitting on the shelf, and I was like, is that a head in a basket? This seems interesting. And
more.
yeah, I was like, we just picked it up, didn't know much about it, but played it, and it's just so funny to me when you get to mess with the whole order of operations by just these action cards, and it could just, you had a strategy, you had a thought, and then you play something, and that's, we call that screw your neighbor component. We really enjoy when that mechanism hits the table.
We enjoy sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
With the right crowd.
With the right
with the
crowd.
right
And sometimes with the wrong crowd.
And it's even
Absolutely.
better.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it plays so quick. I like the just the simple mechanics. Like I say, I'm a simpler kind of game person.
It is a dark theme. We played it with our kids because the mechanics they can pick up. And our son is 9, and he is starting to pick up on themes now too. And he's like, "What are we doing?" And I was like, "Well, we're chopping off people's heads, honey, like you do." And he was like, "What?"
They're French.
It's fine.
It's okay.
They're French. We don't mind. It's fine. Just don't get the martyr. We're sorry.
Yeah. Our 9 is Star Realms. So for the longest time, I couldn't stand deck builders at all. Deck builder, when I first started playing Dominion and Thunderstone Quest, was everybody's going to play a game of solitaire, and then you just tell me when you're done. Star Realms was the first time that you actually got to battle somebody, and I played it off, and I had hated deck builders so much that I just let it go off. I'm like, oh, it wasn't bad. Then I played it again at Geekway with somebody that had all the expansions. Like, oh, this is even better. And now this is a game that I played like 80, 90 times, and also played the Hero Realms version of it, and then I picked up the 4-player Star Realms. Something that we can pick up, shuffle up cards, play it, and then somebody doesn't have any more Federation points in about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Our number 8 and the last of the expansion.
Another card game, Ohanami. You're basically building your own little garden. 3 gardens to be precise. Each one of the cards is a different type of either a different color plant or a water feature. And they're also numbered, and you have to keep them in order. Like if you get a 26 and a 29 and you put them down, later if you get a 27, you can't stick it in there. So you have to put them either above or below in numerical order. And there's 3 scoring phases. The first time you just score the blue ones, the water features. Second time it's blue and green, I believe. And then the third time it's all of the pinks and the grays, which are the rocks. And it's interesting because you'll get a hand of cards and you can only choose 2, and then you pass them to the left. Second round, you pass them to the right. Third round, back to the left again. So there might be several cards in there you're just dying for, but they might not get back around to you.
Yeah.
This one I actually played with you guys at OSCON, and it was really like just at the end of the day, but just like I was telling them, you would like this game because it's basically like a pretty Racco, and Racco's like your jam, and so I just it's so quick to pick up, and just like you said, it's so pleasing to just put it in order. Like it's apparently I have a lot of OCD today, but organizing and it fitting and you're just like I did it, and like finishing a puzzle type thing, but that game's really fun too.
We also told her that you guys should look into trekking history, because apparently that has a Racco down at the very bottom as you're taking your actions, trying to get your histories in line.
That's fun.
Where it's like the dates of it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's got a history component that I thought you and maybe your dad would like too.
I do like those things.
So to end the expansion of the list, Jess, what is the number 8?
Our number 8 is Silver and Gold, and we were just talking about that game, but it is not a roll and write, but it falls into that realm where it's like a draw and write, but you basically are trying to fill up your map. You'll flip over these Tetris-looking pieces, and then you have to fit them into your cards, and it's all dry erase. And some of the pieces allow you to go again, like if you find the X marks the spot. Some of them you'll get coins for it and you'll get extra points for that. But it's just a really quick game. This is one of our car line go-tos where, although we've had to get out of car line because I dumped them beside the seat, so it's maybe not the best car line game. But it's a really, really good airport game.
It is
very good because small box. It can play
game.
up. Yeah, it can play up to 4 players. But it's really, honestly, it doesn't change the game very much whether you're playing with 2 or 4, so to each his own on that one. But yeah, we really enjoy that one too.
And if you've ever heard of the product The Quiver, which is a leather deck case that's, about like a foot long, all the cards in silver and gold are card size, so you could just put that in, and at the top of the lid of your Quiver case, there's like a mesh bag where you can put markers or dice or anything, like poker chips or whatever you need to in the top. That would fit right in there.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, that would definitely fit.
But, guys, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us again.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. All right.
The 417 Gamer podcast is recorded and produced by Rick Bagwell and Andrea Smith. The music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and Making Up for Lost Time was created by Origami Replica. We want to thank Jess and Sarah for coming on. For show notes, links to their pages, and everything else, head on over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hobby Gaming Network. If you're in the 417 area and would like to game with the 417 Gamers, head over to the Facebook page at facebook.com/417Gamers. Guys, keep gaming in the 417.